Moms and dads, you've sent your babies off to college. You've had the excitement of getting them in their dorm, watching them make friends. Now you're home, and you're home by yourself, but it feels a little empty, because today on Who Wants to Know, we're talking about how to deal with empty nest syndrome and transitioning your new routines without that child there. Jenny Edminson, a counselor with the Cone Health Partial Hospitalization Program and Behavioral Health Outpatient Clinic, is giving you ways to tackle empty nest syndrome. Okay, to start off, let's just kind of give the definition of what it is. What is empty nest syndrome?
Yeah, so empty nest syndrome are normal feelings of sadness and loss that parents often feel as their children move away to gain independence. Empty nest syndrome isn't necessarily a clinical diagnosis, but really meant to mark a period of transition, and oftentimes makes us increased vulnerability to negative feelings such as loneliness, worry, sadness, and relationship problems.
All right, so is it something that it happens instantly, like as soon as the kid moves out, or is this something that may develop over weeks and months after the newness and the excitement and all of that wears off?
Yeah, so it could be both. A lot of times it happens right away as soon as you come home from dropping them off, or they drive away themselves. Other times it takes a couple weeks for you to kind of get into the routine and realize that they're not there and this is different. Other times it might be a life transition, such as a first holiday that they're not home for, etc. One way that you can really look at empty nest syndrome is it's a grieving process. So just as grief has no set course or schedule, similarly you'll find that with empty nest syndrome.
All right, let's talk about some signs and symptoms, because we all know, we're like, oh yeah, we're sorry that they're gone, that kind of thing, or whatever. But is there something bigger than just us saying that kind of thing that family and friends need to be aware of?
Absolutely. So like you said, maybe being more tearful, being upset, feeling lonely, having some more mood swings, all of that could fall within the normal spectrum. The thing we really want to pay attention to is when those feelings start to impede your ability to live your normal life. So are you getting distracted at work too much? Is your hygiene starting to fail? Are you getting out less? Are you canceling friend sessions that you normally go to? Things like that.
The things that you normally would do on a normal basis, when that stuff kind of goes haywire, then you know for sure something's going on, something needs to be done. All right, so what are some strategies and tips to help overcome the empty nest syndrome?
Okay, so we kind of want a two-pronged situation here. So one, you got the mental game. And what we want to focus on is kind of really normalizing this. You're not an alien. You're not struggling harder than anyone else necessarily. This is a hard time, and we want to offer ourselves grace, really utilize our support system to talk about that, label and identify our feelings, because that'll help decrease a lot of that isolation and that alienation you might be feeling. The other big thing you want to remember and kind of work on mentally is that this isn't an end. Change is very hard, but it doesn't have to be bad. The relationship with your child has evolved many times already, from toddler to preteen to teen. This is another evolution. You're moving from parent as a caregiver to, parent more as a supporter and an ally or a coach. And there'll be some growing pains, but still can be a really great time.
And that's interesting. You kind of think of the growing pains happening just for your kids, but it actually really does happen for you too.
Absolutely. This is a big change for both the child and for the parent. As far as practically with the parent, we want to make sure that y'all are keeping new opportunities in your life and keeping your routine as regular as possible. So children take up a lot of our time. So a lot of our hobbies might have fallen away, or things that we have wanted to do got put on the back burner, and now we have that free time. If we don't fill it, it just creates space for that loneliness and that anxiety and that sadness to creep in. So we want to start looking at the future and maybe frame this as a positive time where you can reestablish yourself and your passions.
It's so hard because you always hear, moms of younger kids saying, I just want to go to Target by myself, right? And then all of a sudden they get to go to Target by themselves, and then they're like they're not happy with it because it's the whole empty nest thing. So yes, you have to be patient with yourself. All right, as we go to break, we're going to be putting up a phone number, and that is to the Cone Health Behavioral Outpatient Clinic. If you'll just talk about, as we go to break, what this phone number can do for folks?
Absolutely. So when we come back from break, we'll keep talking about ways Cone can be a help to empty nesters as well as the children that might be struggling with this transition. And this number is going to be your gateway if you're interested in any of those services